taking out time during a work day. So obviously, you would have been hearing what we are covering. We covered today. We have been discussing over the last few days about that the concept, that which like pretty much most of us hold about worship. I mean, it's very much to do with obviously our traditional culture and the lifestyle we have been living, but it's in real very much different to what as a Muslim Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us to basically do in our life. If you can just share some of your thoughts on that.
Well, you have Islamic studies in Saudi Arabia. One of the definition of worship. He said that worship is basically it encompasses everything that Allah loves and is pleased with. Basically, so that's worship. So it's not just simply to lock yourself up and just pray nafal all the time. It's much more than that. There's the ritual worships that we do, but there are other things as well. Good actions like giving charity, serving the community, serving your parents. These also become an act of worship when done for the sake of Allah. And even such that if you are, going out and earning money and you have the right intention with that I'm going to earn this money so that I can spend in the way of Allah, provide for my family. Even that becomes an act of worship, that time that you are spending in the office working away.
Definitely. So it's really about that whole that basically understanding that your purpose, isn't it? That you obviously as a human being, you have too many links, you have too many things which are attached to you, and obviously you will be questioned about all of those responsibilities which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has obviously given to every single individual. And as you very clearly just said that we can just really cut off and lock ourselves in a, I don't know, go somewhere outside in empty space, live our life there, and exactly just cut off. I'm just gonna live my life true to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm not gonna be the fitna. Dunya is a fitna. That sort of understanding.
Now there's a ayat in the Quran. The monasticism that was practiced by the Christians. The monasticism was
exactly. I think that's where the whole concept it got mixed up with these different ideas, because what people like obviously for as a Muslim we very much understand that life is a test and we have to go through it, we have to live it as to its full, really. And we would come across all different kinds of challenges, all different kinds of things which would may cause some error, and we have to go through those things by obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's what really worship is. But if you you just explain about the Rahbaniyat, that basically people find it very difficult, isn't it? Like, how can you just stay in the world and do everything that you are required to do, and then obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every single thing?
It's mainly within the guidelines that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. Then even that becomes an act of worship, and you are effectively discharging your responsibilities through that as well. So it's all about how you where your focus is and how you maintain your intention and try and be sincere for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But another thing, this is something that which I wanted to share, which you mentioned, I think, in your clip yesterday, about the the narration that says the dunya is a prison for the believer and a paradise for the disbeliever. There's actually an interesting athar from one of our scholars from the Middle Ages, and it just shows a very interesting way of looking at this hadith itself. His name was, I think it was Ibn Hajar, and I'm paraphrasing the story because I don't remember it word for word exactly, but hopefully you'll get the gist. He was a scholar, a very well-renowned muhaddith, and he was quite well off as well, basically, and he was wearing some fine clothes. And he passed by a poor non-Muslim, basically, who was begging. And the non-Muslim said to him that, you guys tell us that the dunya is a prison for the believer and a paradise for the disbeliever. So how do you explain this situation? I'm a poor guy with nothing, and you've got, all this wealth and stuff. So he replied back saying that basically, if Allah accepts me into Jannah, this is a prison for me compared to that. And if you die before, then what awaits you this is going to be a paradise compared to what awaits you. So it's just the way you think about these things.
Yeah, I mean, indeed, even if you have all what the world holds in this world, it's still, very much nothing to compare, to the next life. So, mashallah, indeed, very different view of, looking at the hadith itself. And that obviously the whole point is, like you said, when you have that clear understanding of what you are doing or what you are basically working for, only then you can actually see things very clearly. Because if, like we, for example, if we just get lost in the world, and we would, like we can be a very good human being, which I think many non-Muslims are. They are very good human beings, and they would fulfill their duties. They would be very much upright. They would be very much honest, and they can live a life like that, and then their life would become very much good for them. However, as a human being, what we were basically supposed is it was that the clear intention that what we are doing, it is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Also to acknowledge that is the Lord, and you are a slave of Allah. And this is something which in this society, which people are trained to believe, oh, you're free, you don't have to listen to anyone. It's not an easy concept to accept. So the first thing before you even get into, I'm a good person, is to acknowledge that you are in fact a slave of Allah.
So I mean, I think it's one of the verses in Surah Yusuf, I believe. I don't remember the Arabics, but it does say that, is it not better to have just one Lord instead of too many lords? That your life would just become so much easier.
To the two prisoners in the jail with him. Yes, I remember this. Yes, exactly. So, you might say that I'm not a slave to anyone. I'm free. But even then, you're basically a slave to what society is telling you, to the norms of your society. So everyone by default has to be enslaved to something, right? So when we become enslaved to Allah, we in fact free ourselves from everything else, and only Allah is worth being enslaved to.
And obviously when you just became slave of one Lord, then obviously everybody becomes equal, and we wouldn't have the problems which we are facing today. So indeed, Islam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the best guidance and the way of life. So Jazakallah for joining. Much appreciate giving time, and we will inshallah get you after every now and then, so we can go through some of the main points. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. So that was Sultan Bhai, mashallah, very much